Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here with some more Hearthstone. In today's deck spotlight, we'll be taking a look at a board control Shaman deck. This was posted up on Team Liquid by Christopher, and the deck took first place at recent Mana Grind and TKS tournaments. So we've got some strong early game minions such as Argent Squire and Harvest Golem, some abilities that allow us to trade up those minions for larger ones like the Shattered Sun Cleric and Rockbiter Weapon, and then lastly some late game beef such as Earth and Fire Elemental. Now with the general premise out of the way, let's take a look at the deck in action. Board control, board control. You feel like you hear a lot about it, and it's because it's a very popular strategy. This is a very well-rounded deck. Now, in terms of this opening hand, I am going to get rid of the Hex. I want to hold on to one of these two just to deal with any potential early game stuff he may drop down. And I think out of these two, I actually prefer the Lightning Bolt because I'm playing against a Priest. We're dealing with potential of things like a Northshire Cleric, and that 3 damage will come in handy there. And the Loot Hoarder is actually pretty nice here as well. This will be a nice, pretty early game play. Bloodmage Thalnos, you know, comboed with the Lightning Bolt turns it into 4 damage. There, I'm not going to complain about that draw either. All right, so we do have the Earth Elemental. Unfortunately, not going to be that great against a Priest. But it is what it is. We're going to go with the Loot Hoarder right now. We'll probably follow it up with a Shattered Sun Cleric, turning that into 3 attack. And then if he kills it with a Shadow Word Pain, then we still get to draw the card. So, and then we have that second 3/3 in play. And you know what, actually? Which way to approach this? This is a very interesting situation. So I can go with this and then trade into that. And then we still have the 3/3 in play, which I don't think is a bad move. I could also just Lightning Bolt it and lose no creature. But then I could save my Lightning Bolt for a future situation, and I think that's what I'll do. So we're going to go with the Shattered Sun Cleric, and we're going to turn that into a 3/2. We'll attack. Our thing still lives. And there you go. That's pretty good. So now even if he's going to Shadow Word Pain, we still have a 3 damage on the board. Let's see, he's gonna coin. Oh no, here we go. It's gonna be 2 damage across the board. Are we seeing the Holy Nova? No, there's a light spawn. Oh, little does he know. Little does he know. This is, oh, fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. Very great start to this game, huh? So we're gonna see the Bloodmage Thalnos get that extra spell power. We're gonna Lightning Bolt him, bringing him down to a 1/1. And then I'm just going to attack him with my 3/3, hit him with my 3/1. And just bask in the glory that has been the opening of this game. So yeah, board control very strong in this particular game. And I'm not talking about this matchup here, but in Hearthstone, because of the way the game is structured, board control is a very popular strategy. And that's why you do see a lot, and that's why you will continue to see a lot of decks that focus around it. You just can't deny the fact that it's because you can choose what creatures to attack into, it makes this very, very popular, and for good reason, again. Alright, so let's see, Harvest Golem. I'm probably, unfortunately, going to attack into that thing. Because I don't want him to easily get rid of that. And then have no repercussions. I could also Lightning Bolt, but my gosh, a Lightning Bolt for that, I don't know if it's worth it. You know? To be honest, though, I'd rather keep that 3/1 in play, and if he doesn't have a Holy Nova, you know, I'm liking pushing this extra damage through. Because if this gets a second swing, it's all of a sudden better at dealing damage to him than if I were to do that 4 damage Lightning Bolt. So there's an Azor Drake. He does not kill my creature this turn. He gets the spell power, and we could go ahead and drop down this Earth Elemental right now. And you know what? I think we're gonna do it. He needs a Shadow Word Death to deal with this. And, you know, if he doesn't have one, then there you go. Now, the next question is, do I get rid of this Azor Drake or do I leave him in play? Yikes. It's a tough call, but... Yeah, you know what? We're gonna get rid of it. Gonna draw a couple cards in the process. And yes, I will be throwing away my Bloodmage Thalnos. That is in fact the decision that I made. It's good in the deck. It helps, you know, that extra spell power, but I don't know that I'm gonna draw into any spells that deal the spell damage. There's just enough to make it worth having it, but it's not necessarily like key, if you know what I'm saying. And you know what? We can go with we're gonna be able to go with another one of those, which will be rather hilarious. Let's go for card draw right now with the Novice Engineer. And so that thing, if he attacks into it, we'll be able to guarantee the kill. Actually, no, let's go with this. And if he attacks into this next turn, I'm just going straight for his face. I'm leaving that guy in play. And if he attacks into this, we can finish it off with our 1/2 or with the Lightning Storm. So we'll have a few options to get rid of that. And then we also are going to have next turn enough to play the Ragnaros the Firelord. We're losing our locked out mana crystals. Those are going to drop off. And he still can't even mind control. Alright, so he is going to, let's take a look. He's going to get rid of that, no problem. And then he's getting rid of that, but that returns. So, ooh boy, Lightning Storm with a spell power would be amazing. Actually, no, we can finish him off, so we're just going to do that. 4, 5, 6, no, we've got 7. That's not enough to finish him off. Not enough to finish him off, huh? Well, let's keep our fingers. Let's 4, 5, 6, 7. Not quite enough. All right, let's hope for spell power here. Let's see what we end up getting. We do not get spell power. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and do this. Keep our fingers crossed. RNG Jesus works in our favor. Thank you, RNG Jesus. We don't give him a mind control target, and we bring him down to 6. So I think it's pretty safe to say this is going to be a win. I do declare there's a really good chance of it. We can pop down a well, not next turn actually, because we're locked out, but even just the Argent Commander, that's 4, and then we just need 2 more damage to be able to push through. Never mind, he is now up to 8. Let's see if he's gonna Holy Nova here. Wouldn't be enough though. That's not gonna do him any good. He needs taunt. He does not have taunt, so there is a game. Very, very good game. Very good display as well as to the strength of this deck. Even playing against a priest who, in many situations, can have an easier time of dealing with this deck with all of the removal that they have for our big creatures. But there you go, there's a win. Let's take a look at the deck list. For the board control Shaman, we have got 2 lightning bolts helping deal with early game. Also can be very strong late game finishers thanks to your spell power totem or the spell power from the Bloodmage Thalnos. A couple of Rockbiter weapons allowing you to trade up with your small strong minions like the Argent Squire. Even Loot Hoarders and Novice Engineers can trade up very effectively with a Rockbiter weapon. 2 of the Argent Squires, nice early game drop, Divine Shield. Stormforge Axe helping you deal with small creatures or decently sized mid-game creatures. The Bloodmage Thalnos, because the deck has just enough spell damage to warrant it with the Lightning Bolt and the Lightning Storm, can obviously make it that much stronger. Got the Loot Hoarders and Novice Engineers allowing you to filter through your deck for some of those strong cards. Hex for strong target removal, Lightning Storm for mass removal. Harvest Golem, very beefy early game creature. Shattered Sun Cleric, it's in a lot of decks because it allows you to trade up so effectively. The Earth Elemental, and a lot of this late game stuff, keep in mind, the reason this deck is structured the way it is because a lot of that single target removal has been phasing out of the metagame because smaller aggro decks have become more prevalent, so single target removal isn't as strong. And you swing back with some large single target creatures to help offset that, it can put you in a good position. But again, against like a priest, as you just saw, it can be a dangerous situation, although last game it worked in our favor. So we've got 2 of the Earth Elemental. You know, with a coin, you can drop this on turn 4. Against some opponents, it can be rather hilarious. Like specifically playing against a Paladin, turn 4 Earth Elemental, there's not a lot for them to deal with that. Stampeding Kodo, allowing you to pick off some small creatures. Specifically, this is really a lot of times used to target warlocks and their blood imps, allowing you to get rid of those because it's not a direct target. The way the system works, it randomly hits it if that's one of the few creatures with 2 or less attack. The Sylvanas Windrunner, just because it's a very strong legendary. 2 of the Argent Commanders, cards in almost every deck. It's so effective, 2-for-1s most of the time. Fire Elemental, also great at doing 2-for-1. It's a 6/5, lots of health, 3 damage when it comes into play. It's a very strong card. And then late game Ragnaros, because hey, why not? 8 damage as soon as it comes into play. Can't complain about that. All right, guys, that is the deck list. Once again, the board control Shaman deck posted up on Team Liquid by Christopher. The deck took first place, as a reminder, at the Mana Grind and TKS tournaments. It's a strong deck. It's a good deck. If you can afford it, because it is a pricey deck, give it a shot. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. Stay tuned for the gameplay follow-up, where we'll be playing 2 to 3 games with this deck in Masters just to see how it performs. Thanks again, guys. Keep watching and keep owning.